Today I'll be showing you a list of the best Chromebook games of 2021. Hey guys, it's Joel here with Make Tech Easier. The Chromebook is becoming a more and more robust laptop option by the year. With increasing crossover functionality for both Linux and Android, it now has access to a plethora of apps and games that in the past would have been unthinkable. This list is largely made up of games you can download from the Play Store too, because every Chromebook released for a good few years now has had native Android functionality. We want to reflect on what's available to the majority of Chromebook users today, and we've checked to see that these games will work well on most modern Chromebooks. So let's dive right in. First up is NBA Jam on the Play Store. Sports games aren't easy to get on mobile. EA has been cracking out FIFA games for years, but they just feel stiff and awkward. NBA Jam solves many of these problems by keeping things simple. 2v2, big heads, and spectacular slam dunks make this one of the best sports games on Chromebook and Android. Those who played the excellent NBA Hang Time in the 90s will particularly enjoy NBA Jam, as it has that same gun-ho, absurd, arcade-like play where you leap 50 feet into the air before smashing the ball down through the hoop. Local and online multiplayer, a fun campaign, and simple controls make this a must-play even if you're not a basketball buff. Next up is Among Us from the Play Store. Now, there are few games as popular as Among Us right now. I'm sure you've heard of it. A big part of the popularity of this murder mystery party game is just how easily it runs across all platforms, and it's crossplay too. The idea is that you're one of several jelly bean looking astronauts on a spaceship, working together to keep things running smoothly. But one of you is actually the imposter trying to kill people and sabotage the ship. This game is really best played with friends rather than strangers, calling you a suspect with no justification, but it works wonderfully on Chromebooks as well. The graphics has really got an update since this game first came out. Now that it's a standalone program, it really is quite awesome to look at. Alright, I can check my mini-map. Let's go down and fix the reactor, so... reported. He's the imposter. So in Among Us, we take it in turns. Every time someone is killed, you have to vote to see who the killer was. Next up is Game Dev Tycoon from the Play Store. Game Dev Tycoon is an addictive management sim about running a game development studio. It's been around since 2012, and the fact that it's now on PC, mobile, and Nintendo Switch speaks to its popularity. Assemble a talented team of devs, move into an office, and get on the path to becoming the greatest game studio known to humanity. There's a nice narrative too, as you start the game in a garage in the 80s before moving through the eras to the new technologies they bring with them. The game works great with touchscreen controls or on a mouse and is really a kickback kind of experience as you conceive one game project after another and hopefully watch the big bucks roll in. Now with Game Dev Tycoon, I really do love the simplicity of literally just starting in a garage and starting on some really old school computers and just building out a game concept. And the scores are based on reviews from fans. So people review your games, and the higher your score, the better you're going to do. One thing that can get a bit annoying is the amount of pop-ups that come up. I don't know, for me pop-ups could be a little distracting and just stats, but if you're really into statistics and scoring higher each time, then this is a really cool game to play. Next up is Google Stadia. While it's not really a game in itself, given that Google's cloud gaming platform lets you play such games as Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and PUBG on your Chromebook, it definitely deserves a mention here. Stadia works by streaming games from Google's servers, then essentially beaming it to your Chromebook via a high quality up to 4K video stream. If your internet is fast, then the difference between playing the game via streaming or actual hardware should be negligible. Just go to the Stadia site in your Chrome browser and you're good to go. Another fun fact is that you can now trial Stadia Pro for a month for free, which gives you access to a nice little catalog of included games to try. You can also see how Stadia stacks up against rival cloud services in our Stadia vs GeForce Now versus Shadow comparison on our website. Next up is Castlevania, Symphony of the Night from the Play Store. Metroidvanias are all the rage these days, but they wouldn't be where they are today without this seminal entry into the Castlevania series. Introducing non-linear exploration, opulent pixel art and an unforgettable glam rock meets ghoulish soundtrack, Symphony of the Night is one that you can always go back to, and it remains immortally brilliant, kind of like Big Jack himself. The surprise release of an Android version offers a new way to revisit this classic, complete with new perks like a continue feature and achievements. Playing it on Chromebook's keyboard, or better still a gamepad, is much more comfortable than on a touchscreen too. Next up is Alto's Odyssey from the Play Store. Now, the sequel to Alto's Adventure is one of the most mesmerizing and artistically accomplished games on Android. It's also among the Android games that are most universally compatible on Chromebook. In Alto's Odyssey, you glide on a board across all kinds of desert landscapes, with mysterious cities and ancient rock formations rising in the background. It has its share of challenges, but it's also a serene experience that's perfect to bliss out to on a lazy weekend afternoon. And next we have PUBG Mobile from the Play Store. Now, unlike most of the other games on this list, playing the Android version of the legendary Battle Royale game on Chromebook comes with some caveats. First, you need to have an Intel CPU inside your Chromebook. Secondly, how well PUBG Mobile runs on Chromebook depends heavily on your device. Users of Google Pixelbooks have reported that it runs reasonably well, as have those on higher-end Chromebooks. There's an interesting piece over at Chrome Unboxed about how well this version of the game runs on modern Chromebooks, and the outlook is pretty good. If you do manage to get PUBG Mobile running, you're in for a world of tough old fun as you duke it out against 99 other players to be the last one standing. It's stark, immense, and incredibly compelling. Now, to note that you can play the full version of PUBG on Chromebook if you subscribe to Google Stadia Pro, which, as I already mentioned, does come with a 1-month free trial. Next up is Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition from the Play Store. The ever-increasing support of Android apps on the Chrome OS means we're becoming more and more comfortable recommending Play Store games for Chromebook. While not all games work perfectly, well, many don't in fact, but one of the titles that's been confirmed to work actually seamlessly across multiple Chromebook devices is this classic RPG. Beamdog's port of Baldur's Gate 2 retains everything from the original games and is bolstered by HD resolutions. It's an old-school RPG set in a beautiful pre-rendered world that has you controlling a party of heroes, taking on quests, and engaging in deep D&D style combat. It's one of the more seminal games of its time, with excellent colourful writing and an immersive world that laid the path for today's RPGs. So in Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition, upon starting the game you have a lot of different races that you can choose from, and depending on which character and which traits you choose, it's going to have a fairly big impact on how you play the game. And each character is going to have different attributes and a different play style. So you can also import your previous save games from the original Baldur's Gate series as well and bring them into Baldur's Gate 2. We do recommend that you play through Baldur's Gate 1 because there are some features and parts of the game that might not make a lot of sense just jumping into Baldur's Gate 2. But this is one of the best RPG series out there. Next up is Agar.io. Now, gaming minimalism in its finest form here, Agar.io doesn't look like much. A smattering of primary colored circles floating around on what appears to be a sheet of graph paper. But once you start playing, it's actually a viciously compelling online battle for survival. Control a circle, guiding it around a large plane expanse in a bid to consume circles of smaller size, controlled by other players. While you avoid being munched by circles bigger than yourself, that's pretty much it. You can cough up some money for in-game skins, but the game can just as easily be enjoyed for free. So Agar.io is actually a very fun game to play on your browser. You do have to be really careful of people trying to eat you, but the main objective is wherever you scroll your mouse to, your circle or your circle virus will grow in size as you go over and eat the foods around the map. But you do have to watch out for other players, as they will eat you, just like that. So the idea is to get really big, really fast. You want to get the highest mass so that you can avoid being eaten. But super easy to play, just jump on your browser, you can create a custom name and log straight in. Next up is Fallout Shelter from the Play Store. Now, this is yet another Play Store game we're featuring in this list. If you need help with adding it or the other Play Store games, you can read our guide on how to install Android apps on your Chromebook on our website. Fallout Shelter is one of the best options for Play Store games on Chromebook. It's the side-on spin-off of the main Fallout series, which tasks you with building and managing a nuclear bunker that's in the game world. It plays great and looks wonderful, using those distinctive 50s style cartoon graphics players will recognize from the Pip-Boy. Next up, this one's got a funny name, Spelunky. Now, Spelunky is, in my eyes, a necessity in everyone's game collection. The permadeath, randomly generated mineshaft crawler is a goldmine of unexpected events. Crazy mishaps and hilarious situations as you work your way forward, stealing the Fable's treasures are pretty common. This is based on the less pretty 2008 version and not the more recent remake, but the systems and mechanics are actually all the same. So upon installing Spelunky, it's pretty easy to set up on your Chromebook. All you need to do is go to the App Store and install the Chrome extension, and you'll be able to just open that right up and get into playing using your Chrome extension. So I'm here in the tutorial. It's a little funny to get used to the controls to start off with. The controls are using the up, down, left and right arrows, and you've got Z, which is jump, and X, which is to destroy monsters or use your rope, and C, which you can place your rope, which I have done up here. And last but not least, we have Town of Salem. This is a browser game. Now, have you ever played the game Mafia at a dinner party after a couple bottles of wine? This browser-based Town of Salem is much along the same lines and similar to Among Us as well. And the good part is you don't need to be inebriated to have fun with it. Play with a whole bunch of players online and try to work out who's killing locals at night. Or if you're the killer, try not to get caught. It's devilishly deceitful, and I had a blast playing it. I think Town of Salem's done a great job of creating a really cool, fancy looking environment on their UI here. So we've got everything from customization options, we can customize our characters, we've got the daily brew, which is quite a cool feature. We've also got the shop. I love these characters, they look so cool. Which one do you choose though is the main problem here. I think I've got to go with Jack Frost. So when we click play, we've got a bunch of different options here. We've got normal, classic, ranked, practice, or ranked modes. So we're just going to go normal, classic mode. We can create a party if we want to play with our friends. We'll just leave the party. So when joining a solo game, you get taken into the lobby. Now, you do have to be aware on Town of Salem, the chats can get a bit hairy. People like to talk about all kinds of things. So just be aware when you jump in the game, you are able to report people. Then we get assigned a random role. I can see my role here, which is medium. Basically, you have good doers and evil doers. My goal is to destroy all the evildoers. The game is split into day and night time. So in nighttime is where everyone can use their abilities, and in daytime we discuss what happened. So, oh no, Black Roses died last night. People are already getting stabbed by serial killers. You can also leave wills, so you can write on this notepad here down the bottom any suspicions you have about people, and then when you're found dead, if someone finds you dead, the last will is read to the rest of the town, so you can actually help people from after you've died. All in all, this game does take quite a while to get the use of. You start off and you have to play the classic game before you can move on to ranked. I wouldn't really recommend anyone doing anything other than classic when you first get started, because it does take time to get used to all the roles in Town of Salem. If you want to use Chrome OS to get some work done, we can show you how to use Microsoft Office on Chromebook for free, all on our website, maketechteasier.com.